Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. This is Martin from martinmixing.com, where we do mixing, mastering and magic. And a bunch of other stuff too. How do you know when your mix is done? This is a question I get asked a lot, and I can totally relate how this is an issue for many of us, especially to those who are just starting out. So how long should you mix? At what point should you say, this is done, let's call it a day, let's go home? This and more in today's video. Let's do it. Since the introduction of digital audio workstations, we have this opportunity to tweak and retweak a mix as many times as we want. I think that Command-Z and Save As are the enemy. Clearly, this wasn't an issue just a few decades ago when we used expensive studios to mix our songs and we had to pay for these expensive studios on a daily or sometimes even hourly basis. So back in those days, the answer to the question was really simple. Your mix was done when you ran out of studio time or money. Or both. Recalls and revisions were also a lot more time-consuming and more expensive because of this, so back then engineers worked a lot harder to get really good results right at the beginning of the process. Philosophically, I think mixing is extremely difficult because it requires two extremely opposing things from the person doing it. On one hand, you have to be extremely invested in the song that you are working on. On the other hand, you have to be extremely objective and detached from it. You have to be extremely invested in the song that you're working on, but at the same time you have to be able to look past your feelings and remain objective and make objective decisions. This transition from a subjective reality into a more objective bird's eye view is, I think, the most important step every mixer has to make in their careers. This will allow you to deliver good work fast and consistently. So how do you know when your mix is done? To me, there are a few signs that I look out for. Sign number 1. I am starting to move along with the song. Once you can feel the rhythm and the groove of the song, and you're maybe singing along to it, you know you are on the right track. This most likely means that your audience will have a similar reaction too, and at the end of the day, this is the most important thing. Sign number 2. I start making smaller and smaller adjustments. Once I'm starting to move my faders only a few dB each and make EQ adjustments of only a few decibels, I know that I'm nearly done. You have to ask yourself this: is anyone else but you going to care about that 1 dB at 12 kHz on the hi-hat? I don't think so. Sign number 3. My mix sounds good on my small speakers, my headphones, and on my main monitors. The mix doesn't have to sound identical to any references, but the essence has to be audible on as many systems as possible. If I'm moving along to the mix on both my headphones, my earbuds, and my small speakers, I know that I'm doing something good. Number 4, and this is a little bit more technical. When revisiting the song after listening to some other music, I don't feel like I'm in a completely different ballpark. Mixing is about making your song as good as possible on its own, but at the same time you have to consider the musical environment as a whole. Our song cannot stick out in a negative way in a Spotify playlist. It has to blend in and of course retain some of its own personality too. Once I feel my song would do well in a Spotify playlist, I know it's time to call it a day. Number 5, and this is a bit more personal. Personally, I know I'm close to finished when I start making tiny adjustments on instruments, such as taking out resonances with dynamic EQs. This usually means that everything else in the mix is so good that these tiny details start to stick out. Also, once I cannot make a difference in the mix with static adjustments alone, and I start using automation or dynamic EQs, I know I'm really close to the finish line. Number 6, I'm getting frustrated. Now this might not mean that your mix is done, but it definitely means that it is time to stop working. I mean, how many good decisions have you made in your life while being frustrated? This is the stage in the process where you are most likely to make wrong, emotionally fueled decisions and add plugin after plugin after plugin that you don't need. So at this stage, the best thing you can do is take a break, maybe even take a day off from this song, move on to another mix, listen to some music, have lunch, have dinner, and revisit the song at another time. Don't forget, it's extremely important to remain objective and to not get too emotionally invested into the mix, especially not with negative emotions. So, I hope this video is helpful and clears up a few things. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments, and please do sign up to Mixing with Martin on YouTube and join my private Facebook group Mixing with Martin as well for more exclusive content and weekly Q&As. I'll be seeing you in the next video. Until then, happy mixing, take it easy, bye bye.